Like I always say, live by the nerd, die by the nerd. What's up, everybody? Rivera here, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. Before we get started, hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Okay, you guys, so I went to my Twitter search. I don't know why I did that. I don't remember what I was trying to search, but I was trying to search for something, and I ended up seeing Kumail Nanjiani was trending on Twitter. And I know him because we shot Live at Gotham together. We did the same show the same night, and like our episode was the same episode when it aired. So I've known him since 2009. We don't talk all the time. Technically, he got mad at me on Twitter one day. I don't remember what he got mad at me about, but it really was, I kind of remember, but I don't remember exact quotes. Anyway, the point of the story is we're not besties, but I definitely do know him, and he definitely does know me. But that has nothing to do with any of this. I'm just saying, because I always like to tell you guys, because I feel like it's important when I actually know somebody. It's kind of like giving disclosure, you know, like that's the way I see it with this kind of stuff when I talk about stand-up or people that have been in stand-up or any of that kind of stuff, you know. So, yes, I know him. No, we're not besties, whatever. But what I saw everybody coming after him about on Twitter, and when I say everybody, it was probably about, I don't know, like if you think about Twitter and the number of people that use Twitter, like active users monthly, there are 330 million. So consider that. And then consider the fact that anytime you see things trending on Twitter, it's probably because a couple of nerds, probably 1,000 or so, had a problem with something, maybe even less than that. And then it was just millions of people responding to that. And people don't realize that it's the people responding that are really making it trend and not so much the people that started the problem. So the thing that people with no lives are concerned with is the fact that he put up a post on Instagram where he was talking about that him and his wife had decided to stay in for Christmas this year, stay at home for Christmas, and they still try to make it special. And then he posted a couple of pictures. One of the pictures was with him eating some food, sitting next to a gingerbread house. That's the one that people seem to have gone crazy about. They're saying that he looks like he's on steroids and that he also looks like he had filler for his jawline. And then they were putting pictures up of him before and after, you know, back when he was just doing Silicon Valley. And it's, you know, here's the thing that gets me about these people. One, they don't matter. And two, the people that respond to them are just as dumb. Like there was one woman that posted this tweet about how the thing about Kumail makes her sad. And if anything to do with celebrities makes you sad, I think you need more of a life. And this person is some sort of writer. I don't care about what she does. It's something more nerd shit if you ask me. And I know that maybe I shouldn't nerd shame people, but sometimes I do get tired of these nerds that have no lives and just sit in front of their computer. It is Saturday night. There's nothing better you can be doing. You're examining pictures of Kumail Nanjiani and trying to figure out how many fillers he's had or where he's had fillers injected or whether or not he's on steroids. Who cares? He's preparing for a role. He's been preparing for this role for a long time. He's working with a personal trainer. I saw another person tweet, I'm at least 20 years younger than Kumail. We actually come from the same place, so basically same genetics. Yeah, that's the way it works. Yeah, me and every Mexican have the same genetics. Anyway, so he's trying to make this case, and he's like, and I've been working out for a long time too, and I'm not nearly in the shape that Kumail's in. And it's like, of course you're not, because you're not working with the best trainer. You're not watching your diet meticulously. I know the way a lot of people watch their diets. If you pay attention to the way I watch my diet when I'm really watching my diet, which is obviously not now. I just came from Subway, had Subway with some friends. I'm going to admit that. I'm going to come clean, but I'm still sober, so that's all we should worry about. But when you're really watching your diet, like when you're actually weighing your food to make sure that everything's exactly the way it needs to be, and you're not fudging in any way at all, and you're only having your cheat days like you're supposed to, and even that's somewhat monitored, and then you have a personal trainer on top of it that's probably one of the best trainers in the world, because Kumail is preparing for a role in The Eternals, which is a Marvel movie, and so you ain't built the same. I hate to tell you, but I don't care how many books you're reading or whatever, you're not doing the same as what Kumail's doing. I personally really watch my diet and really work out when I'm being good. And I have been able to do some amazing things with my body. But do I think that I'm getting the same results as I would be getting if I had a top personal trainer as well as a dietitian and somebody that could make my food for me? And, you know, it's just apples and oranges. You can't say that you're living the same life that Kumail's living just because you happen to be 20 years younger and you picked up a couple weights in your life. So you got to consider that as well. And the other thing is, the same people that are mad at Kumail and saying that he's creating this impossible standard, which, like, let's get to the impossible standard thing real quick, because I keep seeing that all the time when people talk about celebrities. Of course, they are setting up an impossible standard. That's what we expect celebrities to do. That's what celebrities have always done. Throughout the years, throughout the generations, celebrities have always done stuff that we can't do, and that's part of why they're celebrities, because they can afford these things, because the studio will pay for these things. Is there privilege to that? Most definitely. But if you want that life, then you pursue the life the way Kumail did, and you see if it takes you to the same place. Results may vary. I'm going to warn you, results may vary. But if that's what you want, then you go try to live that life. Don't get mad at Kumail because he's living a life that you can't afford. Or let's say he is getting some steroids. Let's say he is. Does it matter? How does that affect your life? Why would he not be doing steroids? If he's going to be in a Marvel movie and he's going to play a superhero, I want him to be on steroids. I want him to look a way that I can't look. Otherwise, why am I paying to watch him on this screen? I do not go to the circus to watch a dog sit. I've got Bijou, and nothing against her, but I can make her sit right here at home for free. I don't need to go to the circus for that, which technically I'm against the circus if you know anything about me, but I don't protest anything because I think protesting things actually promotes them. So rather than protest, I just sit home and don't pay for those particular things. Like I said, I'm against the circus. If you know anything about the circus, Ringling Brothers recently closed down. So has my protest been effective? I would say yes. I would say I personally closed down all of Ringling Brothers just by deciding to keep my mouth shut and stay home. Do you see how that worked? I made Ringling Brothers shut down. An American tradition, and I personally did that just by keeping my mouth shut, staying home, and not buying tickets. I didn't have to cry to anybody. I didn't even tell my family not to go to Ringling Brothers. You do what you want to do. I know my protest worked. And that's exactly what you should do if you feel that celebrities are setting up a standard that regular people can't live up to and that that's bad for society, which I don't really think it's bad for society. I think that people being able to learn or being taught to create their own standard and be happy within themselves, whatever that may be, is what we should be shooting for. Not asking celebrities to not be celebrities or movie stars not to be movie stars because we think that that's sending a bad message to our kids. Because in a lot of cases, we don't even know what these people are going through. We don't even know for a fact that Kumail is actually on steroids. Maybe he's doing everything he can do through diet and exercise. I don't know. And sometimes I've heard people say that people are on steroids, and then I personally know the person they're talking about, and the person is not on steroids. And sometimes I see people say that somebody's on steroids, and I personally know the person, and they admit to being on steroids. And I don't feel anything about that either way. I know that I personally am not good for being on steroids. So no matter what any celebrity is doing or any bodybuilder is doing, whatever anybody is doing, I know what I need to be doing. I know what I need to be avoiding. And what gets me is, it's the same nerds that are mad at Kumail Nanjiani that are also encouraging Elliot Page, which if you don't know anything about transgender people and transitioning, Elliot Page is probably, unless he decides to take a different route, gonna have to go through a lot of surgery. He's probably also gonna end up on, guess what? Steroids. So at the same time you're encouraging him, you're tearing down Kumail, and I guess maybe you think that's right because Kumail's doing it just for vanity and Elliot Page is doing it so that his outward appearance matches what's going on in his brain. But how do you know what's going on in Kumail's brain? Kumail might be like, hey, I'm already a superhero, so I need to be on these steroids. How do you know what's going on in anybody's brain? Because I don't know what's going on in anybody's brain, and I don't pretend to. I worry about what's going on in my brain, And that's what I think more and more people need to do, is just worry about yourselves when it comes to these kinds of things. Like I said, if having an impossibly perfect body or looking a particular way like a superhero isn't for you, then don't do it. If you think that these are dangerous standards to be setting for people, then don't support that by buying a ticket to the movie. Or if it's offered on pay-per-view, don't pay for it, don't view it. Anyway, enjoy getting your little Twitter thumbs hot over people that don't care about you, are making way more money than you, and to be honest, look a lot better than you. This has been Ty Rivera, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world.